Recall that the horizontal relationships along the top of the diagram represents the metacognitive activity that occurs as students progress from fragile notions to fully formed knowledge. The vertical rows show the qualitative differences of each level of interaction. The first row conveys the process that leads students to outcomes that are equivalent to memorization. This level of mental labor is the only cognitive force whereby the ideal outcome is confined to students' ability to recall material to which they were previously exposed. As an academic helper, you will discover that practically all of students' academic work is devoted to remembering. You will also discover that the pervasive overuse and abuse of the memorization skill is a core contributor to underperformance. This skill is a useful start to academic work, but it is rarely a useful finisher, particularly in cognitively complex courses. This diagram will sensitize you to memorization at work, even as it masquerades in its many forms. The second row conveys the process that leads students to outcomes that are equivalent to understanding. The term understanding is frequently used as a catch-all word for knowing something. For example, when a teacher asks a class, "Do you understand?" students may respond, "Yes," but many times neither the teacher nor the students really mean understand. The teacher may mean an analysis, and the students may be saying they remember. This lazy communication has disastrous consequences in academic work. When students understand academic content, they have connected the new knowledge to existing knowledge. We will further separate the understanding skill from the other thinking skills throughout this course. For now, just know that understanding is a distinct cognitive skill that has a greater value in academic work than remembering. As we move down the diagram to the third row, we encounter the applying level of thinking. Applying is a how-to skill. Students have used their applying skill when they can transfer a concept, task, or procedure to a different context at a basic level. Let's progress to the next level. The fourth row represents the analyzing level of thinking. It marks a consequential level of cognitive interaction because weightier assessments will require students to do some level of analysis. When students analyze academic content, they break the content down into distinct elements, enabling them to compare and contrast the information. You will discover that successful students analyze by default, while unsuccessful students may never activate this quality of thinking, regardless of how intensely or how long they study. The fifth row represents the evaluating mode of thinking. Evaluating involves making judgments. It is inextricably linked to analyzing because our judgments are based on the criteria and standards we used during analysis. Thus, while analyzing and evaluating go together, we must be able to separate them according to their distinct function. The diagram concludes with the creating mode of thinking. When students create, they generate new information from existing knowledge. This qualitatively complex type of interaction warrants the highest value. That concludes the general overview of the diagram's rows. Let's quickly recap what we've covered about them. The vertical rows work from surface approaches and shallow thinking skills at the top of the diagram down to deep approaches and thinking skills toward the bottom. The overuse and abuse of the remembering row is a pervasive problem among students. Each subsequent row down the diagram has a qualitatively higher value than the preceding row. As you work with students, they will be able to use the vertical relationships of the diagram to discuss the increases in complexity of each cognitive skill as they work progressively down the diagram, express why more time is needed to accomplish academic tasks that require skills toward the bottom of the chart, and communicate the increases in value of their academic products as they advance toward the bottom of the diagram. Next, let's put the diagram's columns and rows together to look at how this magnificent tool works.